Talia had always thought her childhood home was ordinary, a quaint little country house full of memories but nothing more. After her mother's passing, she found herself back there, sorting through decades of accumulated possessions. One afternoon, while rummaging through an old drawer, she stumbled upon a small, dusty jar filled with tarnished pennies. She vaguely remembered it. Her mother had once told her the pennies were special, but Talia was young then, and the details had faded from her memory. Curious, she unscrewed the lid and poured the pennies into her hand. They felt cold, unusually so, as if they'd been left out in winter's chill. That night, Talia had the strangest dream. She was a little girl again, standing in her old bedroom. The room looked exactly as it had when she was 8, stuffed animals neatly arranged, glow-in-the-dark stars stuck to the ceiling. She felt a tug at her sleeve and looked down to see a young boy with large, sorrowful eyes. "Those are my pennies," the boy whispered, his voice barely audible. "I saved them, but they were taken." Talia awoke with a start, her heart racing. The dream had felt so real. She shook off the unease and tried to focus on her tasks for the day, but the boy's sad eyes haunted her. That evening, as she was preparing for bed, the temperature in the room dropped suddenly. The pennies on her dresser caught her eye, shimmering faintly in the dim light. She stared at them, the memory of the boy in her dream gnawing at her. The next night, the dream returned. The boy appeared again, this time standing by her bed. "Please, give them back," he pleaded, his voice trembling. Talia awoke with tears in her eyes. She knew she couldn't ignore the dreams any longer. Determined to find answers, she searched the house, eventually finding an old photo album tucked away in the attic. Flipping through the pages, she froze when she saw a picture of the boy from her dreams. The caption beneath it read, "David, 1952. Her breath caught in her throat. David had been her mother's younger brother, who had tragically drowned when he was just 6 years old. Talia remembered now. Her mother had told her about the pennies, how David had saved them in a jar, only for them to be stolen by a jealous neighbor child. After David's death, her mother had found the pennies and kept them as a memento of the brother she loved. That night, Talia placed the pennies back in the jar and took them outside. She dug a small hole beneath the oak tree in the backyard, a spot where David had loved to play, and buried the jar. As she covered it with earth, she whispered, "These are yours, David. Rest now." The next morning, Talia woke up feeling lighter. The oppressive weight that had settled on the house lifted. She knew the pennies were finally where they belonged. As she packed up the last of her mother's belongings, she glanced outside at the oak tree, where the morning sun filtered through the leaves. For the first time since she'd arrived, the house felt peaceful, like home again. And in her dreams, the boy never returned.